All right, just finished our workout. We're gonna walk home. Hasta luego. Yeah. We are going to talk about the hardest hitting reasons why American men are moving to Colombia. They're leaving the United States. I have a real estate company here. I've been living in Medellin, Colombia for 15 years. We sell real estate mainly to foreigners that are wanting to come and buy property here to either live here full-time or part-time or just invest. A lot of them want to live here. And the more I dug into it, I found the reasons why they're leaving, and I have them right here. So I'll be looking at my notes as I walk home. I might post up somewhere because this might be a little longer than my walk home. But reason number one, money, stress, and cost of living in the United States is killing guys, man. According to the US Census Bureau, almost half of Americans, the renters, are using up 30% of their income on rent. And 1 in 4 is using 50% of their income on rent. Imagine 50% of your income is going towards rent. That's a tough one, man. According to another study, the average cost of a property, of a house in the United States is $530,000. That's insane. And in markets where it's very desirable, you're talking about an average of 3 million plus on a home. People like you and I are probably not going to be able to afford a property like that ever. And that's sad. On top of that, the cost of goods like clothing, food, gas, utilities, they keep creeping up. Inflation is real. And even though American culture has kind of tried to cancel men are still expected to be providers. So they're carrying the brunt of this financial burden most of the time. So instead of being like in your dream life mode in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're in survival mode. And that's why a country like Colombia is very attractive. According to Nimbio, a site that tracks living expenses and data around the world, a city like New York is 197 times more expensive than Medellin. If you're not living in New York, you're at least 100% more expensive than it is here in Medellin. That means that an income in the United States that barely covers your basic needs and basic living expenses can provide you with rent in a beautiful neighborhood like El Poblado or Laureles, in a safe building with security 24/7, amenities, being able to eat out frequently, hanging out with friends, providing for your kids at a good school, hiring a cleaner, a nanny if you've got kids, coming into your house weekly, if not daily, for the same amount of money that you spend in the United States, which is incredible, but it's just one of those facts that is happening right now. And it's sad because the United States is such a great country. I believe that you guys are in a recession right now, coming up on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And I think it's very important to be thankful and grateful for what you have, but it feels like you're losing more and more every year. The other thing I wanted to mention is that you're not magically rich in Colombia as soon as you land here. You still have to make an income. You still should budget. You know, you could get into the wrong type of lifestyle and you're spending all your money, because it's easy to spend a lot of money here if you start partying. But if you do have discipline, your money goes a long way. The next hard-hitting reason why men are leaving the United States for countries like Colombia is mental health. Men are in a silent mental health crisis in the United States. And According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, there are almost 50,000 suicides in the US, that was in 2023, and 80% of those were men. Actually, I'm going to go post up over here or not have a coffee, maybe just have a water. I'm going to post up at my favorite cafe over here. So the CDC reports that suicide rate amongst men is roughly 3 to 4 times higher than that of women in the United States. So when guys say, I'm not okay, it's not drama, they're really not okay. And if guys say they are okay, the probability is that they're not. Growing up in the United States, you're taught to shut up and man up, right? Act tough. So how do guys deal with stress as they grow up with that mentality? You drink more, you isolate more, play more video games, that's for sure. And a lot of times they implode. They quietly fall apart. Now in Colombia, the culture is far from perfect, but people here are social people. It's normal to talk to someone. It's normal to have a really good relationship with your mother where you tell her everything in Colombian culture. And if you're a foreigner coming down here, it's very normal. It's not taboo to get help from a professional, like a therapist. I've done it myself, and my health insurance covers it. I pay, when I didn't have a kid, I was paying, it was $1,500 a year for top-notch health care, and that included my therapist. And furthermore, the weather here is amazing, so you're always out walking. Exercising is part of the culture, and of course, that's been scientifically proven to help your mental health. So even when I do feel stressed, because obviously I have businesses here and stuff, it's very easy to get out of that dark loophole or that dark feeling by going to the gym, going hiking with the hiking group, playing paddle with the paddle guys, playing golf at the golf course here, doing things that really get me out of that. Being physically active definitely helps. The next hard-hitting reason why men are leaving the United States for countries like Colombia is that now more than ever, people, and mainly men, are feeling lonelier in the United States than ever. According to the AARP, about 1 in 3 adults over the age of 45 in the United States report being lonely, and men are especially at risk because they tend to have smaller social circles and tend to have fewer close friends. The U.S. Surgeon General released an advisory in 2023 warning that about half of the U.S. adults report measurable levels of loneliness, and chronic social isolation has health impacts similar to smoking daily. So the probability of you being a middle-aged guy in the United States watching this video and being lonely is very high. Once you're over 30 in the United States, it's very hard to gain a social circle. It's not like you're going to be making friends everywhere you go, unlike a country like Colombia. Again, we're far from perfect, but it's a social country, so being able to go out and do stuff every single day is possible here because, one, the weather is the same every day. It's called the City of Eternal Springtime, so outdoor sports and outdoor activities is commonplace here, even for the locals who have to work every day. On their days off, they do stuff outdoors a lot. There's so many things to do out here and so many people to meet and it's very easy to actually make friends with people and change your life for the better in that regard, even after 30, after 40, after 50, after 60. My parents are over 60 and they've built a huge social circle here in a year and a half. So if you're sitting in a car, if you're sitting at a desk, if you're eating processed foods, and you're too tired to exercise, your body's going to eventually give out. The great thing about Medellin is that you walk more here, you socialize more here, you go to places like this, cafes where you could sit next to someone and talk to them and get to know them, because most of the people that do come down here tend to stay longer than just a weekend tourist. And again, it's not like you get here and you magically have a better life. You do have to work at it, but the city makes it a lot easier. Okay, I'm gonna drink my water here. Okay, the number 5 hard-hitting fact for why men are leaving the United States for countries like Colombia is work, stress, and burnout, man. According to Gallup's A State of the Global Workplace report, about 52% of workers in the United States and Canada say that they felt stress a lot of the day, one of the highest stress levels in the world. People are working more hours, answering emails at night, and constantly worrying about money, layoffs, and bills. A lot of men feel trapped in the United States and maybe Canada and other countries, but I know mostly the United States because our clients come mostly from the United States. If you quit, you can't afford your lifestyle. If you stay, you burn out slowly. You're either exhausted or anxious or both. So Medellin hits a lot better for a lot of men because your fixed costs are a lot lower. Rent is cheaper here, going out is cheaper, the dollar goes a long way, etc. A lot of people that come down here work online. They have remote jobs or they start a remote business and they make dollars and they spend pesos, which is a beautiful thing because a lot of people can afford a better life out here. You may not even make more than you were making in the United States. You might be making less, but living in Colombia, your lifestyle and quality of life go through the roof. So with more margin, you can take on new projects, start new businesses. You can afford to fail. And of course, you don't have to worry constantly about money, paying bills, being laid off, etc. So I'm a true testament to this. I've started multiple businesses in Colombia. A couple of them have hit and I've done very well, but all of my income doesn't just go to rent, mortgage, Costco, or here we call it Price Mart, grocery store, and a few basic necessities. Here I'm able to not only run a business, but do cool things like this, go to cafes every day, work out of cafes every day, go to the country club, play golf with my friends, play paddle, etc. And I don't have to worry about spending all of my money. It doesn't all come in and then go out. I actually save enough to buy a property almost every year, which is amazing. And it's something that in the United States, I'd have to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to do. Okay, the sixth hard-hitting fact for why men are leaving the United States for countries like Colombia is healthcare. I mean, I think that goes without mention. The United States probably has the worst healthcare system in the world, the most expensive. I'm not talking about the quality and the professionals that work there because I think they're great and you've got top-notch facilities, but the cost is probably the worst in the world. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation investigation, around 100 million people in the US are carrying medical or dental debt. That's about 4 in 10 adults in the United States have some sort of medical debt. That's crazy. For many men, one accident, one surgery, or one trip to the ER can wreck their finances for years. I guess that goes for men and women, but this hits men hard because you avoid going to the doctor because you're scared of the bill. You ignore problems until they're serious. You stay on jobs you hate just to keep insurance or to pay those medical bills that you already owe. It's kind of like an endless loop. And I wouldn't wish bad health on my worst enemy. And I definitely wouldn't wish having to pay all those premiums, such expensive bills, just to get some basic coverage. It's terrible. But here in Medellin, for example, I've got a kid, I've got Manuela, I've got my parents. I pay $4,000 a year for the top-notch healthcare from Sura, where I have an application and I can make an appointment on my phone anytime I want with a specialist, with a general doctor. For example, I just had my blood work done and someone came to my house, took my blood, took urine samples, etc. And then I've got everything back to me, all the results via email. And then I go back to the doctor and he tells me what I should do, change up my diet, etc. if I'm deficient in something, etc. It's a wonderful system here and the facilities are awesome. But that's if you have the private health insurance. People still struggle here with the public health insurance. It's not the greatest in the world, but at least there is some sort of global coverage for them. But if you're an American coming from the United States and you have a decent budget, you'll be able to afford, if not the top notch, a very good plan in Colombia. Okay, the 7 hard-hitting fact for why men are leaving the United States for countries like Colombia is the family breakdown. According to the PEW Research Center in the United States, the U.S. has the highest rate of children living in single-parent households in the world. About 23% of kids live with just one parent, usually the mother. Okay, I have to check that against Colombian single motherhood rate. Oh, no, actually Colombia leads the world in not single motherhood, but children being born out of wedlock. So it doesn't mean that they're not living with two parents. They just not born into a family where there was a wedding or there's a marriage involved. Another analysis using US Census data estimates that over 18 million children lived without a father. In Colombia, it's not perfect. We have a high single motherhood rate. If you're a foreigner coming to Colombia, you're not going to be part of that statistic. I don't know many foreigners that come down here, have children, and then leave them. Furthermore, the older gentlemen that come down here and adopt the kids from the woman that they meet, and they become responsible, but they come into a family that is a Latin American family, a Colombian family, and we are very close. So the kids fall in love very easily, they care hard, and on top of that, you've got so many other family members around that every weekend seems like a holiday, right? It seems like a family gathering. Happens almost every other weekend, if not every holiday. But it's something that's very wonderful, and it's very different to the culture in the United States, where in the United States it feels like by the time you have your career, you leave your city, your friends are away, your family are away, you're pretty much not getting together with them until major holidays, birthdays, or unfortunately funerals. Where in Colombia, it's the opposite. You get together with people every single day, if not every single day, at least every other weekend or holidays, and there are 14 major holidays here. All right, the last hard-hitting fact for why men are leaving the United States for countries like Colombia is numbing out, screens, doom scrolling, wasted years. According to digital behavior data compiled by Backlinko, the average American spends about 7 hours per day looking at a screen and over 3 hours a day on their smartphone alone. That's basically a part-time job just on your phone or on a screen. Why this hits men so hard is because after work you're wiped out, so you scroll, you binge, watch Netflix, Instagram, TikTok. Days turn into months, months into years, and nothing changes, and you feel like you've wasted your life. When you move to a new country like Colombia, your life kind of changes. And that's up to you. That's up to your discipline. But in my experience, my life has changed so much because I have so much more activities to do, or so many more activities to do in the city. For example, like I had mentioned, if I want to meet with friends, it's very easy because the city is small. Public transportation is easy. Getting together with people, it's very easy. I co-work almost every day out of either a co-working spot or a cafe. So my downtime is not spent looking at a phone. It's actually interacting with other people that are working with me, going to the gym, doing this kind of stuff, like my projects, like the Medellin Buzz or the Medellin Living Real Estate Company, or my real estate investment properties here in Barrio Manila, or helping masterclass students that are relocating to Medellin. So I feel like I have a purpose. It feels like in the United States, you've become a country of pure consumers and you have less purpose in your life. And when that happens, that light starts to diminish and you tend to give up. So this is one of the things that I love about living here, is that I meet other people and I ask them, why did you decide to stay here? Because there's a lot of travelers that have been to many countries around the world, and they realize that here in Colombia, they can actually be, number one, more social, meet more friends, form a community, but on top of that, be very productive. They can get into a routine where they are making money, where they are building businesses. I had a lot of friends that have started charities out here, or they started volunteering. I've got a friend that just moved down here and started working with a baseball clinic out here with kids, which is something that was unheard of before, but now we have so many Venezuelans in Colombia that baseball has become a little bit more popular, especially in the poorer neighborhoods, and he's working with them. So things like that that really change a guy's life happen here, and sometimes it just takes a change of scenery for that to happen, but really it's a change of mental health or a mental state. So those are the reasons why people are leaving the United States, particularly middle-aged men, and they're coming to countries like Colombia and finding love, finding passion, finding purpose. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you been to Medellin? Are you planning to move? Are you living here now? How do you feel? Oh, guys, I forgot to mention before I sign off, we've got some new t-shirts. Look at this. Let me know what you guys think of the new logo. It is in the shop right now. Obviously, proceeds will go to Help Colombia, where we teach kids in the poor neighborhood of Moravia English every Saturday morning. Get yourself one, support the cause, and I think they look pretty cool. Let me know what you think. See you guys in the next one.
Yes, I understand that every life must end. As we sit alone, I know someday we must go. Oh, I'm a lucky man to count on both hands the ones I love. Some folks just have one, yeah, others they've got none. Stay with me. Let's just breathe.